because what? Guys, the connection. It's like I was in that villa with them. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing okay and everyone is doing well. Before we get into today's Love Island review, I just want to give a huge shout out because we actually reached 25k. 25,000 people have come across this channel and subscribed, and I don't know, I've literally just been buzzing. I didn't even know we hit it until I woke up this morning and I saw there was some comments that I needed to reply to from yesterday's video, and people were like, congrats on 25k, and I said wait, 25,000 people. Guys, I've been smiling since this morning. But yeah, I just want to give a huge thank you to everyone who has supported, followed, liked, shared, subscribed, commented, anything. I'm honestly so thankful. If you're interested in my YouTube journal, you know, if you're interested in my YouTube journey story, I will pin that above or also down below so you can have a watch, because I have been doing YouTube before doing these Love Island reviews. But no guys, I'm honestly so thankful. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to be doing a giveaway, so I'm going to have more details on that by the end of this week. So if you want to stay up to date with that, be sure to be subscribed and be sure to follow me on my Instagram at SarahDestinyX. Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys. I'm honestly just buzzing. But there's a lot for us to unpick and unpack as always from that episode. We love to see it. So as I usually and I always say to 25,000 people, crazy, but as I usually and I always say, please get cozy and comfortable with your hot Ribena and your snacks. And let's get into this review. Okie dokie, so let's start off with the dumping. Now you guys already know from yesterday's episode, we knew that one girl and one boy was going to be going home, and it was the public that were going to decide. So you guys would have known that, I think it was on Friday, we were able to vote for the three lowest people, or three people in the villa that was our least favourite. Out of the guys, it was out of Ikenna, Jay and Andrew, and out of the girls, it was out of Tasha, Amber and Ekin-su. I think I predicted that that Ikenna was going to go in yesterday's episode, and I also predicted that Amber was going to go as well, just because of the dynamics of them in the villa, and I didn't really feel like they had, I didn't know if there was a lot for them to stand on, if I'm going to be honest with you. So as you know, Ikenna did end up getting dumped and Amber got dumped as well. Immediately Tasha started crying, and I was just thinking like, okay, we need more scenes with these people's friendships, because Tasha was crying like they had given her news that Amber didn't make it, and I was just wondering like, am I overthinking it, or do they have a much stronger bond that we are aware of as the public? I don't know. Everyone was just really upset, which is understandable. They have known these people for the past 2 weeks. They definitely have built good relationships with them as well. But I do feel like the crying was a bit over the top. They're just coming back to the UK. They're not underground. Do you get where I'm coming from? So for me, personally, I did feel like the crying was quite a lot. Tasha and Andrew ended up going for a chat, and she said that, oh, you know, if he did go, that, you know, I would have went with you. And I was just thinking, sis, is that really true? And I did already say this in a couple reviews ago, sorry. Someone did have an issue with the way that I spoke about Tasha and Andrew, and like I did say, these reviews are subjective, but for me personally, I do find them quite boring, and I low-key feel like the way the storylines around them are framed, they're low-key trying to make Tasha and Andrew our 2022 winners, and they are not my winners, okay? They are not my winners, so... But also, Indiyah was crying as well, and she did say because, you know, two of her closest people in the villa have, of course, gone. She did have a good relationship with Ikenna, and of course, she did have a very good relationship with Amber as well. So I do feel like it was quite interesting, kind of just seeing how everyone talked to Amber and Ikenna exiting and leaving the villa. But I'll be honest with you, I need Indiyah to cry the tears and come back to reality. Dami, you as well, just standing there, because Dami was looking upset, but low-key you're smiling because you're about to get your little indie. So I just want them to, you know, dry up the tears, and let's just get this moving, because you guys definitely do have chemistry there. What's also quite interesting as well is the fact that, of course, Indiyah and Dami had just spoken about how much they wanted to pursue things with one another, and of course they needed to tell their couples that this was exactly that was going to happen, and of course it didn't end up happening because Ikenna and Amber are currently on their way back to the United Kingdom. So yeah, very interesting dumping, but I do feel like it made sense for them to go. Yeah, I feel like it definitely made sense for them to go. So let's move on to the following morning. Of course, the girls are speaking about the dumping, and the boys are also speaking about the dumping as well. Dami was speaking to the guys about Indiyah, and literally, because of course it was kind of kept, you know, close-knit, only Tasha and Andrew really knew about the situation, and I guess Ekin-su and Jay to an extent. So the other people in the villa didn't really know exactly that Dami and Indiyah potentially wanted to get to know each other. So Dami was like, oh, you know, like I'm thinking of speaking to Indiyah, and Jax was like, oof, already? Like, bro, Amber is not even at Heathrow yet. It's a bit too quick, don't you think? So let's move on to Auntie CCTV. And in case you don't know who Auntie CCTV is on this channel, it is Ekin-su. Because you know when she initially did come to the villa, she was just observing everyone. Like instead of her to be sleeping, she was looking to see who was doing footsies, who's holding hands or whatever. But she basically was speaking to the girls and she was like, oh, you know, like Paige, I was observing you. And it's like, you guys had like a little tent, you know, going on because Paige and Jax, I guess, were just, you know, enjoying each other's company in a very interesting way at night, and Auntie CCTV saw them. Personally, I really love Paige. You guys know how much we stand her on this channel. I think she's an absolute sweetheart. I do really like Jax as well. I do feel like they do get on quite well. But a lot of people are saying that they do think Jax has the potential to turn his head in Castle more. I don't know, I think it's definitely early days, you know, I definitely think it's early days, but I just don't want Paige to get hurt. You can see that she's a certified lover girl and she really does like Jax. I just hope he is as genuine to her as she is as genuine to him. I really do hope. So let's move on to Tasha, you know, Tasha, Andrew, Jay and Ekin-su having a chat. I was just like, not the four with the lowest votes having a little chin wag, but they were basically having a conversation about how it felt for them to both be, you know, as couples, you know, to receive the lowest votes. Ekin-su was saying some interesting stuff like, oh, you know, I just feel like the situation will just make you like stronger. And Tasha was like, yeah, like I honestly told Andrew that if he left, like, you know, I would have left with him. And Ekin-su was saying the same. Do I believe that? I don't know if I actually do. I did note down one thing, right? And as they were speaking, the camera it honestly kept panning to Jay, and I was wondering, why does it keep panning to Jay? Why does it keep panning to Jay? But it just kind of made me wonder that maybe Jay is starting to question Ekin-su and her character, maybe because of the Davide situation, maybe because of the Paige and Amber situation. Like, maybe she's just a bit too much and maybe I kind of need to calm things down. But like I said, we're going to move on into that further because a little something happens as the episode goes on. So let's move on to Indiyah and Dami, okay? Because it's beautiful scenes. That's what it is. It's definitely beautiful scenes. Personally, like, I feel like Indiyah was definitely trying to speak to him like, oh, you know, so how do you feel? Dami's just like, Amber who? Is it even Aaliyah? Who? Sorry, I can't recall. The way he was looking into her eyes wasn't even focused on the conversation whatsoever. I said, nah, Dami is ready to shoot and we are ready to see. So let's move on to Ekin-su and Davide. So Ekin-su and Davide were having a conversation about Danica, and Ekin-su was just like, oh, you know, just follow your heart. And I was just thinking, okay, that's a very interesting piece of advice to give to someone that you were in a couple with and also low-key disgraced on national TV. But obviously, whilst they were talking, Jay was speaking to Gemma. What did I tell you? What did I actually tell you? I do feel like Jay 100%, there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to start questioning Ekin-su because she's a big character. She's a very big personality and she definitely does bring some juice but also some drama to the villa. So Gemma and Jay were speaking and he basically opened up to her and said, oh, you know what? I feel like, Gemma, listen to me very well. I feel like Ekin-su and Davide may have some unfinished business. And you need to remember, whilst they're speaking, Davide and Ekin-su are in the kitchen and they're speaking as well. So he did say he does feel like he wants a bit of a laid-back girl, that Ekin-su is a bit full-on. And it was quite interesting because I noticed this as well, and some people noticed this on Twitter as well. Did Jay deep that Ekin-su was the public's least fave and is now starting to, you know, cause wahala and cause drama? Because what has changed in the past 12 hours, now all of a sudden you think Ekin-su's a bit much. Very interesting, Jay. We're watching you. So she of course ends up noticing that Gemma and Jay were speaking for quite a while, and then of course Luca and I believe it was Tasha came over to the kitchen where Ekin-su was, and she was just like, I'm cooking for everyone, but she just kept like slamming things and pushing things aside and like trying to keep busy and like looking over her shoulder. And I was just thinking like, it's not really given. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's actually not really given. You don't really know the context of their conversation, so you shouldn't necessarily be triggered. But then Luca also ended up asking Ekin-su, like, you know, do you still think there is a potential with, you know, Davide kind of thing? And she was just like, well, you know, like, I'm not necessarily like writing things off. And I'm just thinking, you're not writing things off, but I'm 100% sure that Davide has written things off with you. So of course, Jay is in his feels. He's thinking, okay, the girl that I'm potentially in a couple with may potentially go for Davide. Let me find out what is going on from his side. So Jay now goes to approach Davide and he's just like, oh yeah, like, bro, you know, I just wanted to talk to you. Like, do you think there's a potential for, you know, me and Ekin-su, for you and Ekin-su to rekindle? And literally, I think Davide is something like, no, never, like, never. I'd rather be single and leave the villa. So it's 100% funny how, I guess from Ekin-su's perspective, she thinks there is still a potential with Davide, but Davide's just like, you disrespected me and I'm not going to allow it to happen again, so you you can get that in. No, you're not. You know, if you watch that episode, you know exactly what I was about to say. So let's move on to the nighttime, and Indiyah of course is giving a speech like, you know, it's a bit sad, you know, that Ikenna and Amber aren't here, and they were just like, here's to you and Dami. So it's quite nice to see that the islanders are also starting to see what Indiyah and Dami also feel about one another, and kind of just see it as a way like, Ikenna and Amber were just here blocking you guys, now let's make the real thing happen. And as you know, it gets very juicy as things go on. So let's move on to the challenge, and I'll be very honest with you, I have expressed this numerous times in my reviews. Sorry, I'm speaking so fast, I need to calm down and breathe. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I have expressed this numerous times in my reviews that I'm not the biggest fan of Love Island challenges, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I do feel like sometimes they're just a bit extra and a bit forced, but this challenge was actually quite good because I honestly thought it was going to be boring, but it definitely came to deliver and give us some insight and juice into what some of the islanders are thinking. So essentially what they had to do was they had to get a balloon and they had to pop the balloon between one another in very interesting positions, okay? That's what I'm going to say. And also once you pop the balloon, you have to answer very triggering questions. So I guess I can just touch on a few things, a few of the questions that were mentioned in the challenge. Who do you think is here for love? Who do you think is playing a game? And who do you think will be dumped next? The connection as well, like who do you think you are more connected to? Who would you go out with if you weren't in a couple with XYZ? Let's speak about Dami and Indiyah real quick. Because what? Guys, the connection, it's like I was in that video with them. It's like I was in that, the connection between Dami and Indiyah, and I was just thinking like, wow, is this the content that we've been missing? Is this the content that we've actually been missing? The connection was 100% there. If you watched it, you watched, and if you know, you definitely know. One question that literally made me LOL was Danica and Luca ended up popping a balloon, and her question, I believe, was to mention who she thinks is the most needy islander. And she mentioned Luca, and Luca was just in his feelings. I was just thinking, bro, this is a game, okay? Relax, it's not that deep. But he was so triggered. I was just thinking, not trying to be funny, but you are needy because you're in a couple, yet you're choosing to sleep in a doghouse whilst the girl that you like is sleeping in the bed that she's in a couple with. Very interesting, okay? Very, very, very interesting. Anything else that I want to point out? Aha, yes. Last but not least, Jay was asked to kiss the person that he would but he should kiss the person that if he wasn't in a couple with, aka Ekin-su, he'll potentially go for, and he ended up kissing Paige. Kiss was quite passionate, if I'm going to be honest, and you can see Ekin-su was sitting there, her blood was boiling. I was just thinking, Jay, you don't know who you're in a couple with. This girl can pluck your eyebrows in your sleep, in case you don't know. By the end of the day, it's literally a game, so I don't know why Ekin-su was moving so triggered at that kiss. It is not that serious, honey. It is not that serious. So let's move on to Danica and Ekin-su having a chat. And I said, you know what? Danica is here causing trouble, but it's the content that we need, and I'm here for it. So Danica was speaking with Ekin-su, and she basically was like, you know, I just want to let you know, like 100%, like that kiss, yeah, just that kiss that was going on, like if you wasn't here, he would 100% go for Paige. Why are you feeding into Ekin-su's head? You know how this woman moves, okay? You know how she thinks, you know how she acts. She's calculated and she's an actress. Why are you feeding into this? But at the same time, thank you for feeding into it because you are giving us content, okay? So of course, Ekin-su was a tad triggered, and then she went to go and speak to Jay. When she spoke to Jay, she was just like, oh, like, so, you know, if I wasn't here, would you like go for Paige? And Jay's just like, yeah, yeah, I guess. And I'm glad that he was honest with her because yes, we are in a couple with one another, but let's be realistic, like, it's a game show, and if you weren't here, there is a potential that I'll have to go for someone else, and yeah, that person will be Paige, so suck it up. But he also asked her as well, and she said that she will kiss Davide. So that's also feeding into what Jay originally thought about them not having unfinished business, which I guess made Jay look at her and probably still look at her a bit funny regarding the situation. But it's also quite interesting, once again, I'm really analysing this, wow. But it's also quite interesting once again because it goes to show that maybe Ekin-su still thinks there is a potential that, oh, you know, me and Davide can be a thing, and Davide's just like, you can get daddy out. So very interesting. Let's move on to Indiyah and Dami. Wow, oh guys, it's actually beautiful scenes. It's actually beautiful scenes. What? So Indiyah and Dami, as you can tell, they're definitely my faves, but Indiyah and Dami were having a little chin wag, and of course they were just speaking, definitely smizing, a lot of blushing going on there, a lot of flirting, a lot of cheekiness. We love to see it. but Dami ended up kissing her hand, and you can tell that they do really like each other. And I did say this in yesterday's review as well. It 100% is the intention from me. Okay, and I know it's the intention for you as well, because Dami is showing Indiyah more than what Ikenna showed her. No, in fact, let me reword that. Dami is showing Indiyah in 24 hours more than what Ikenna showed her in 12 to 13 episodes. Do you get where I'm coming from? So 100% is the intention for me. You can definitely tell that they do really like each other, and I think a lot of the public as well, especially on Twitter, also like the fact that, you know, Dami and Indiyah are getting more screen time, but also that, you know, their connection is starting to grow a bit more, especially now that Amber and Ikenna are no longer in the villa. So last but not least, let's move on to I've got a text. So as you guys know, they ended up getting why did I say it like that? Anyway, as you guys know, they ended up getting a text that the hideaway was open, and now everyone was thinking, okay, who can we send? Initially they wanted to send Indiyah and Dami, but of course they are not in a certified couple yet, and you do have to be in a certified couple in order for you to go. They then mentioned Ekin-su and Jay, and I promise you, the way Ekin-su's face lit up, like she was like, and then they were just like, no, Paige and Jax. I said, yo, you people are bad, because Ekin-su was actually itching to go into that hideaway. So that's actually quite funny, but of course they ended up picking Paige and Jax to go into the hideaway. Like I did say, I really do like Paige and Jax. I just hope that Jax is as genuine as Paige is coming across to be. But yeah, they ended up having a little, you know, they like to show us glimpses of the hideaway scene-ish, so very interesting to find out or see what went on in there. But yeah, that was pretty much like the main gist of the episode. Of course, you guys know that we got a tomorrow night, and tomorrow we are going to be met with a new girl. So a new girl is going to be entering the villa. From the little glimpse that they did give us, she is Caucasian. She does have blonde, like really blonde curly hair, and she has body. Okay, sis has body. You know when they walk with the bikini scenes like in slow motion? Yeah, she has bodies. I was even thinking, damn, she thickums, okay? So it would be very interesting to see how the girls take to the new girl being in the villa, and also interesting to see how the guys take to the new girl being in the villa. But as always, I would love to know what you guys actually thought of that episode. I do feel like the challenge low-key spiced things up. I'm very happy that Indiyah and Dami are getting screen time. Beautiful scenes we love and we stan. Okay, we 100% do stan them on this channel. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how this new girl comes to switch things up, and also see if the dynamics in the villa end up changing. But as I always say, of course, please share your comments down below. I love reading what you guys actually thought of that episode. As always, if you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe. We have reached 25k, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to keep growing by the grace of God, and honestly, I'm just so thankful for the love and also for the support. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please join the family, and also be sure to follow me on my Instagram, because at the end of this week I'm going to be announcing a fantabulous giveaway, because why not? It's good, you know, like you guys support me, so all I want to do is really just give back as best as I can. If I could literally reach out to the 25k people, I would, but unfortunately I can't do that. So yeah, we're gonna have a giveaway. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please do take care, and I shall see you tomorrow in our next one. Bye.